Hey guys, Jack here again, and this week we are going to be covering the extra Chinese content on the Vive Focus that we didn't have access to originally. Now, one of the problems that we had getting this is that the only way you can top up your Vive account, or the Chinese Vive account, is by using WeChat or Alipay, both of which require you to have a Chinese bank account, which we do not have. Thankfully though, through like a friend of a friend, we managed to get some money through and we got it topped up, and we got about 5,000 Vive points on the store, which is about £60. So we've been trying out some of those apps for you over the past week. Having looked at the extra content, it's kind of reinforcing my own view that standalone headsets are probably going to be quite useful in arcades because they're so easy to set up. So one of the games that we were trying, called Mercenary, really takes advantage of the whole head tracking because it makes you duck for cover and things like that, so it's a shooter game. And yeah, you need to get out of the way of the bullets and stuff, so you're properly moving around, which is an excellent use of that sort of headset. Obviously it's nothing brand new because all the PC versions do that, but it's showing what a standalone is capable of. I think it would be enhanced if there was a multiplayer experience, if you could see it using with your friends or something like that, that'd be amazing. It reminded me of playing Time Crisis at game arcades. I don't know if any of you remember that or if that's one that you played, but that's what it reminded me of, and it's almost like an upgraded version of that in terms of like interactivity. Along that vein, there's also a Mario Kart-esque game called VR Karts Sprint. Works in pretty much the same way in that you race around a track, you pick up power-ups to try and slow down the other players. At the moment it's all AI. It doesn't look like there's any multiplayer functionality. Again, that would be vastly improved if there was at some point. Even if you were only racing against like a ghost version of your friends, you know, if they'd done a time lap or something like that, that'd make it much better. With regards to the actual motion, I was surprised at how okay it is, considering I played it standing up and you were racing around, so obviously you're moving in the game relatively fast. I felt a bit wobbly at first, but after a few laps that completely went away and I actually found it completely fine to play. I generally don't have a problem with locomotion anyway, but there are certain things that I feel sick with. Some people might have a problem with it, but overall I think it was actually done quite well. It would be great if Mario Kart maybe could actually be imported into this sort of thing. So overall there's about 51 apps on the store, of which about 7 or 8 of those are video players. And there's been some new ones released on there since we tried it first. And actually the 8K Visbit Player is still our favourite one in that it's high quality. They now added the option that you can download the videos, so it doesn't matter if you don't have very good internet to stream it, because you can just download that, play it, and it actually looks really good. Some of them I'm not sure if they're supposed to just be completely video players. A lot of them are just purely in Chinese. Haven't been able to find an English option yet, so I don't know if that exists, but it's not always 100% clear what they're supposed to be used for. There's videos that don't always play and things like that, so we'll try out a bit more. But video I think is one of the key areas that, again, this sort of headset is going to be really good for, because you can just pop it on and play or watch the video, and because the screen quality is fairly good, could still be better, but it's still pretty good, you get a really good viewing experience. Alongside the video players, there was also an historical app, so it was exploring the Terracotta warriors. It's all in Chinese, so I have no idea what was being said or what I was being told. Again, that's a great example of what this sort of stuff is going to be used for. You can walk around, you're not going to be tethered like a PC headset, or at least the current generation. After that was an app that let you wander around a house. You could walk around, but the house was quite big, so generally you were just teleporting around the floor plan. I thought that actually worked quite well, and I can see how that would translate into, I don't know, estate agents. You could build a house in VR, have a look around, see if you would actually want to build that in real life. You've got a game called Great Header, which is basically you've got to header a football into some goalposts, and depending on where you hit it, you get points. Quite a cool way. I don't think I haven't played a game where you've had to actually like headbutt things. The controller doesn't come into it at all apart from navigating the menu, but I thought it was okay. It was quite hard. The next one is Beats Forever Paper. I don't know if some of these games struggle translating from Chinese because I don't really understand why it's called that, but that's basically Guitar Hero Without the guitar, so basically there's boxes of colour. When a blob of colour goes into the box, you're supposed to click it in time with the music. The music just keeps playing whenever, even if you miss notes, it doesn't like jar or stop or anything like that, it just keeps playing but you lose your combo. I quite liked it just because the music was quite upbeat, so it was quite fun, but as for actual interactivity, I thought that could be a bit better. I'd like maybe a bit more haptic feedback or just a bit more engaging in what you're supposed to actually be doing. The last one is Flock VR, which is quite a visual and oral experience. So the point of the game is a bit weird. You're basically guiding a flock of birds around and they eat insects, and the more insects they eat, the higher your points go. The higher your points go, the more intense the music gets and the more kind of crazy and psychedelic the visuals start getting. So it's quite cool from that respect. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did, but I did keep playing for a bit and it was quite fun. Just, I mean, flinging around the thing for the birds to follow was okay, but I was more interested in what was happening around me. And with the headphones on, you are properly immersed. And with some of the games, and especially this one, I did lose sense of which direction I was facing. I didn't know if I was facing the camera or not at all. I was just trying to shuffle around on my feet to detect where I was. But I think this explores another area that's really cool and interesting, and more people are starting to get into, which is the kind of artistic side of VR, creating these crazy visual experiences, especially with audio. It really does take you to another place. It doesn't have to be super high res. I just think what you're looking at along with the audio, if that all ties in really well, I do think it's a really interesting experience to have. Now there's also a couple of questions that I want to answer from some of the comments that we had in our previous videos from the Vive Focus, and they primarily relate to content and the amount of it and the quality, I guess. Now one of the points we made is that there's a general lack of content in VR. Now what we kind of mean by this is relative to other platforms. So if you look at PC games or mobile platforms, there's obviously hundreds of thousands of games and applications that you can get, which is way more than there is on VR at the moment. Now the other point made is that there is over 1,000 applications on the Oculus Store, which is a good point, but at the same time, quantity doesn't necessarily mean quality. Now clearly there's going to be some good applications to try there, but I imagine with any platform, the bad probably hugely outweigh the good. Now there is a big hurdle for HTC to overcome there compared to Oculus, because they are starting from scratch. You know, they've got 50 apps at the moment compared to 1,000, which is barely anything. And this is one of the major advantages that the Oculus Go is going to have, in that when it's released, it's going to have access to all those applications straight off the bat. What it'll be interesting to do maybe in a couple of weeks or a couple of months is to have a look at the top 5, top 10, maybe even top 20 applications on each store to see how they compare and what sort of content is there as well. Is because one headset might be better for something else. If the Oculus Go doesn't have the head tracking, then it's not going to be able to be used for some applications, certainly not to the best extent that you can use VR for. It's something we'll keep an eye on and see how it goes really. But I hope you liked our thoughts on that. If you have any other questions about the content that's available on the Focus, do let us know. We'll try and get back to you. Otherwise, I hope you like this, and please subscribe, as it is massively appreciated. Cheers.